Think my wife wants to have with her friend. After several years of marriage, my wife and I have 2 young sons. Following the birth of our children, we didn't have nearly as much as we had in the past since it was more difficult to get alone time. Our choice to ratchet it back up was taken a few months ago, and the results have been nothing short of spectacular. There's no reason to be concerned because our feelings for one another are still as strong as they were when we first started dating. It wasn't until recently that she finally revealed to me that porn makes her feel hot, after years of denying that this was the case. However, she could admit that she is drawn to lesbian porn in particular, which she described as awesome. Whenever she got a girlfriend, I readily admitted that it was a desire of mine to see her with another woman. We would often joke about how I wouldn't want to do anything with the other woman myself, preferring to watch them together or perhaps in which I only participated with my wife instead. I'm advised that the standard reaction is, yeah, but it's not going to happen, because I don't lean that way, and that this is the most common response. She also admits to fantasizing about having a connection with another woman about the same time she confesses to enjoying lesbian porn. It's still pleasant and non-inconvenient to me. In fact, I find it to be a wonderful turn-on in a variety of scenarios. Of course, when we want to be extra sinister, we will bring up this dream in our evening talk. Asked about the physical characteristics of her dream lady, she said that she wasn't sure since she didn't see anything that stuck out. I suggested that she choose one of her workers who also happens to be one of her closest friends, which she decided to do after hearing my recommendation. The last couple of days she has been talking about it at work, and we have been joking about it on the phone as a result of this. She seemed to be pretty enthused about the idea, which is something that both of us find appealing. As a consequence, eroticization has unquestionably increased in the realm of time. Unfortunately, since she hasn't approached her friend about it and neither of them has ever had a contact with another woman, the wife is unclear whether or not her friend is interested. The son-in-law seems to be intrigued, and she has said that she would like to go out for drinks with a buddy one evening to see where things go from there. I informed her that if she wanted it, she could have it, and she happily accepted my offer. Please realize that I am unconcerned about the fate of our relationship if anything like this occurs. She adores me, and I feel the same way about her. She may decide to leave me and go away with her buddy, but it is not anything I am concerned about. I will not be bothered if they do things without informing me, as long as I find out about it afterwards. Do not doubt my ability to please my wife, and I am certain that I will not be replaced in this capacity. Fortunately, there is nothing to be concerned about. My wife would be concerned if I slapped her buddy for no other reason than the fact that I don't want to do it. To restate, I would either observe or, if I did participate, I would only do so with my wife, as I previously said. I would not participate alone. If the wife's acquaintance isn't interested in the notion, then that's the end of the story. Suppose her closest buddy is likewise interested in the same thing. Is it better for me to just support my wife to follow her aspirations of becoming a reality rather than intervening? It is unethical of me to promote this product, do you think? Story 2. Never start cheating on your partner with a married man. You'll only regret it, just like me. To be quite honest, I have no idea how I got up in this situation in the first place, and I have no idea how I ended up in this situation in the second place, but here we are. Any ideas or recommendations on how to get over it would be much appreciated. Thanks in advance. I am also aware that I will get bad criticism from you as a result of my actions, which I cannot take lightly. I tried my hardest to keep it as brief as possible, but it was impossible. It is my goal as a 24-year-old woman to study hard, find a career that I am passionate about while still having the freedom to travel and live a life in which I have the opportunity to make my own choices. I then traveled to a number of nations to work and study throughout the course of the last year, and I have now got my ideal job in my dream city. Everything had been running well up until that point. For the last 3 years, I've been cohabiting with my girlfriend at our apartment 28M for the purpose of simplicity. We'll refer to him as Phil. Phil and I have been together for 6 years, and we have known each other for a total of 10 years previous to that period. Phil went through a quarter-life crisis around 3 years ago and realized that he needed to meet new people in order to move on. Because he was very honest with me about it, we experimented with being in an open relationship for a few months before moving on. That period of time was awful for both of us. My heart sank for Phil, and I couldn't understand what had driven him to do such a horrible thing to us. I had always felt we were a perfect fit, and the whole situation was devastating for both of us. Over the course of those months, he stated to me his profound devotion for me and his certainty that I was the love of his life. But he also emphasized the need of staying with this period and seeing where it leads him. Needless to say, my heart was broken, and I took the difficult choice to end our romantic connection. He recognized my efforts to distance himself from me and instantly voiced his regret for everything and returned to me. I welcomed him back with open arms, and we were really fairly happy for a good portion of the time until about a year ago. Apart from the fact that I returned to the relationship with the expectation that he would leave me soon regardless. This did not happen, and he has been pleasant ever since, but my mind is still torn about him. Nevertheless, I began to have second thoughts about everything we were doing, including whether or not I really wanted to continue working with Phil. Minor irritations or frustrations irritate or annoy me, but I feel sorry for him because he is trying so hard to do the right thing. Listed below are the reasons for my participation in the cheating forum. About a year ago, I began working in the ideal job that I had envisioned for myself. During the first month of my internship, I met this man who we'll name Noah. We became fast friends. In his 40s, Noah is an active and free-spirited individual who has been married for 17 years and has twin sons who are 10. He enjoys the great outdoors and is a free-spirited individual, full midlife crisis pack. Although Noah was continuously in my vicinity, he would always find ways to pass by my desk and strike up a conversation, would be conversing with me during the whole corporate happy hour, and after I left the office, he'd depart and take me to the metro station that was close to my home. In the end, he fell in love with me and I fell in love with him, and despite my best efforts, I couldn't keep my emotions hidden or avoid them, until I couldn't anymore. We spent the most wonderful time together. We were head over heels in love with one another and entirely involved in the honeymoon period of our relationship, which was a wonderful experience. There were several occasions when he mentioned the possibility of abandoning his family for me, and I repeatedly urged him against doing so, saying he would be disappointed in himself in the long run. At the same time, I knew that I couldn't leave my partner when my mental health was in such poor condition. I am terrified that I will come to regret my decision, and I am concerned that I will not be able to move on after Noah's death, since I know Noah and I would never work out as a true pair. 47N with twins and a 24F is, in my view, an unlucky mix of circumstances. Meanwhile, despite the fact that I'm over heels in love with him, I feel an unexpectedly low amount of desire for him. On one occasion, Noah admitted to his wife that he was over heels in love with me, and everything has changed since then. He is now seeking a divorce, and we have separated in order to give each other space. More than a week has passed since we last spoke to one another, and it is causing me to feel sick to my stomach. Unlikely as it is that I would contact him, I need to find a way to move on from Noah and reunite with my husband. Do you have any advice or admonishments for the government?